Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to use the iPhone just because it's a little bit simpler to get this done this way. And it is a little bit weird for me to try to crop out, using this angle and doing it in this way, but I think it'll work fine for our purposes anyway. So this is the first video that I wanted to make kind of talking about, and now that we're heading into this upcoming week here, that'll be the last week before we head into the expo. The following week will actually be expo week, and then we'll kind of get into it. So expo will run from Thursday through Sunday. And obviously on the channel, that's going to be partially trying to figure out the different ways in which that's going to affect kind of the scheduling, the content. And that's something that I'm definitely working on in terms of my planning, because I do want to have some videos coming out of it, some content coming out of it. So I basically want to talk a little bit about my prep and also kind of my plans for the expo week, upcoming, not this week, but the week after. So it'll be the 10th, the week of the 10th. And then that's when we'll have some fun with that. So a couple different things we're going to be doing. It is going to be a little different than normal expos in the past. And the biggest difference, and I kind of talked about it on the live stream and some other places where I've alluded to it, is that usually I have a little bit of money set aside ahead of time. I will still have some with me, but it'll definitely be streamlined down. And part of that is something I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes, but we'll get into some of the other stuff that I'm planning as far as that's concerned. So first, let's talk about non-content, non-pickups related stuff. I am still going to get some things done while I'm at Expo, and some of it is obvious, but some of it is going to be repeat of previous Expos. So first one is we got a little box here, and this is stuff right now. These are candidates. So I've still got a little bit of time left, so I'm going to go sort through this. I threw some cards in the box that I'm looking at potentially submitting for COMSI. So that's one of the first things that I want to be doing. And I'll grab a couple just as an example for you. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's mostly just singles and different stuff that I want to be potentially moving. And I figure COMSI is probably the best venue for it. So we got a Kirill Kaprizov metal. Let's see if I can get this right. Kirill Kaprizov metal rookie. So we've got that going on. And then we got a parallel of marquee rookies of Jason Robertson. So this is the sunset version for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. So that's a nice card. And then we got some miscellaneous football. Wow. See, this is what happens when you're trying to use a different camera. The camera's actually over on the side. So I'm trying to look at the screen, and that means I'm looking a little over the edge. Anyway, so there you go. So we got what is this? Curtis Samuel. So a jersey card. We got Joe Namath parallel here. Mitchell Trubisky rookie. There you go. And Leonard Fournette. And basically just random stuff. Here you go. This one's appropriate to right now. World Series going on. Alex Bregman, rookie cup, and then rookie logo as well. Gridiron Kings Favre. So basically not crazy stuff, relatively inexpensive stuff that I think might make a little bit more sense in the COMSI format, and even a little wrestling. Here you go. So we got a Ray Phoenix memorabilia card. So the goal here is going to be to go through this, and basically what I'm looking for is that there is an intake cost. I believe it's 50 cents per card, just if you're doing it like really basic. So I want to make sure that it's worthwhile. So basically I'm going to go through this box of all these different cards that I set aside and try to figure out something that at least I can charge $1 or $1.50, $2. Some of this stuff will definitely be more, obviously. I'll adjust it to whatever the going rate is on COMSI, but I want to make sure it's worthwhile. But I'll have a box of this set aside, ready to go to submit the COMSI directly in person. And I'll do that at the expo, so that'll be very similar to last time. And I was able to move a bunch of stuff last time around, so basically just stuff that I don't need anymore. So I figure I would move that on, and somebody else can have it. Second thing that I'm going to be doing is also going to be a PSA submission, and that one is obviously not a surprise because usually I end up doing one of those, and expos are usually a good place for me to drop it off. So I've got 13 cards so far that I'm looking to do. I'll show you. I'll quickly go through these ones just to show you kind of my plan. So instead of doing a separate video for it, I'll do it right now. So first we got my MLB Showdown Pujols rookie. Hey, pack pulled, everything, you got to have that. So that's one for sure. Here is a, this is from one of the Panini shows. I think this is the Father's Day. So this is Cyber Monday. So 2018 Panini Cyber Monday, Juan Soto parallel here. So we got it with the rookie logo as well. And these are numbered. This is numbered to 199. So pretty solid. Can't complain about that. This one will look familiar to you, and I'll show you why in a second. So this is from 2018 as well, and this is probably one of the better cards in this lot here to potentially be graded, and it's going to be the Prism, the green Prism. So that is numbered to 50. So that is that's a good one right there. Now that will look familiar to you because I've got a 10 previously from a previous submission. So the reality is that I actually had another one that I had gotten a little while ago, so I figured that I'll get that one graded as well. This one I'm obviously not as worried about. I've got a 10, but that means down the road I may move the 10, and this one, if it gets 9 or 8 or whatever, it's fine. It's probably going to be for PC, and I'll hang on to one of them and move the other, and that's kind of how I'll approach it. This next group here is predominantly all PC stuff. It's for some of the wrestling cards that I put together in some of that batch. So we've got some of the parallels. Britt Baker. So we got that's the Pyro, the yellow. So I'm not going to do the whole group of them, but I'll definitely grab some of the other ones. So this one's the lock. So you can see it says Lockjaw. And I'll make sure I flip it because the way I see it, it's showing as reversed for me. And I'll try to flip it on the actual footage when you get it later. So it says Lockjaw, and that is the finisher parallel, which I think is, it's more than one per box, or maybe it's one per box for each one. So those are actually pretty tough. Exclusives out of 100. And then we've got this one here, the High Gloss out of 10. So these are actually pretty tough. So I'll make sure I have that. And then I've also got a couple of the base versions of the autographs. So I've got the base autograph for that one, and then also the autograph for the magazine subset. And then a couple of Wardlows. So again, finisher, and the yellow, and the exclusives. So right now that's 13 cards that I've got so far. I might add a handful more. I'm trying to see. The other one that I'm looking at potentially, it'll be either this, or maybe I'll consider SGC. I could do SGC as well. I've got a couple of Manos and those BGS ones that need to be cracked out. So it'll either go into this, or it'll go into maybe SGC if I want to get it back a little bit sooner, because I'm not going to build those sets, so I'm probably going to move those cards. So something I'm working out. I'm trying to figure it out. The good news about starting to prepare, and this is something I would recommend for any card show. I don't care what it is. If you're going to a bigger card show, plan some of the stuff out ahead of time. That's why I say, like, I'm going through this, and I already know these ones I'm submitting for sure. I might add a few more cards to this lot just to make it more complete. And then most of the ComC stuff I figured out, but I'm going to go through them again just to make sure it's worth at least a 50-cent intake. If it's not, then I can take it out and it'll make it a little less expensive for me, because you got to make sure the money is in the account when they start processing it. Even though there'll be a bit of a delay between the time you actually do it and the time it processes, you're going to want to have it. But I've got this group of cards that I'm going to get submitted, so I've got that in a box. We're going to keep that in there, and then we'll add to it more if we need to. But basically, that's it. It's the organization ahead of time to try to make sure we're prepared, so that when we get to the expo, then it's just making sure you got all these boxes loaded up, and you'll be able to do whatever you need to do. So as far as submissions, that's right now what is planned for me. So that's submissions. Second thing we're looking at is the content side of things, and that's where I think definitely this expo is going to be mainly about content. But from that, it's going to be videos. I'm definitely going to make at least one vlog out of it for sure. Try to capture some footage and do some stuff. We're probably going to do some stuff with PSA Canada. That's definitely part of the plan, I think. Exactly what we're going to do, we're not sure yet. So there could be some, we may try to do a live stream, see if we can do it from the expo. I'd love to try if we can. So that'll be something that hopefully maybe we can pull off. And if we can, that'll be great. And I'll make sure it's mentioned on the channel so that we can send some people over to check it out. For my channel directly, I'm definitely going to have some live streams involved with it, but most likely it'll be from the hotel after the fact. But I've just got to figure out which days that's going to be. Very similar. Last expo did the same thing and did the same thing in the fall. So it's going to be a similar idea where I'll pick a couple of days where I'm able to get back. I already know the laptop can handle it, so we'll be all set. I'll make sure I've got my microphone with me, so I'll be able to maybe show off if I did end up picking up anything, and I'll talk about pickups and potential pickups here in a minute of stuff I'm going to be looking for. So at least one or two live streams for sure, and we'll definitely have some videos depending on what's going on and how the week's going. And I may do an overall kind of vlog thing. I'll try to record some stuff. Obviously, I can record stuff like this, so that'd be something that I definitely want to incorporate. And if I manage that, that would be part of the content. So obviously we'll have some videos related to Expo, which is going to be fun. So content-wise, I think we'll have plenty to do, which will be great. But I'm not sure how that's going to relate into the rest of it. So now talking about, you go to a card show, you'd love to get ideally some stuff. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be looking for stuff for the 53 Bowman's color set. So hopefully I can pick up a couple of cards for that. But again, there's no urgency. It doesn't have to be. I can pretty much get plenty of enjoyment just out of hanging out with folks, recording some of the content, submitting the stuff I need to submit, and I would still consider it a successful expo. But I'd love to get some stuff for that 53 Bowman set, keep chipping away at it. The 63 Fleer baseball set, keep chipping away at that. I've narrowed down Medano stuff to 90s Medano. I'd like to get some stuff off that checklist specifically, because when it comes to newer stuff, there's always going to be newer stuff out there. I know for a fact there'll be plenty of it on the tables if I really look for it. But it's just a matter of finding stuff that I need. And the reason for that, and the reason I'm being a lot more streamlined in terms of what I'm looking for, is that even coming up into the expo, and I can tell you that I had a couple of Instagram, back and forth with some folks. I was offered a couple of cards that are pretty good. And then in the weeks leading into it, I've gotten stuff from PWCC, I've gotten stuff from ComC, I've gotten stuff from, eBay. I've got one more eBay, Ship My Cards package coming in probably in the next week or so, that has the last couple of eBay stuff. And right now my eBay purchase stuff is empty. Even though I've tried to kind of settle back in and try to not pick up too many things, the fact was that I have found enough stuff over the last couple of months, and even you can't quite make it out in the background, but down here is that country of origin patch card. Well, that was an expensive card, and there's been a variety of different. I've gotten some favorites that have been kind of on the expensive side. Not super expensive, but if you add them up, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Honestly, it just hasn't been as much money left over in the budget, but it's stuff that I've wanted to add to my collection and stuff that I've been wanting to pick up. So for the most part, I've taken care of that. And another piece of the puzzle as well is that going into the expo, based on everything I've seen, the expectation is that this upcoming week, the AEW Spectrum product is finally going to drop, and I've got a box pre-ordered. So that's another cost already built into it. Plus hotel, plus eating out, that's going to happen during Expo. So I'm treating it like a vacation, and I'm pricing all that stuff in. But the fact is you're already dropping all this money just to get in the front door. So the reality is that we've already got that. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to end up getting anything autographed from Medano, because he's going to be there for that. And I do have one more item that I may be willing to get autographed. So the question is, do I want to do that? Do I want to fork over the money for it? That's all going to be part of the question. And by the time you're all done, it's like, well, I'm not made of money. I can't be just handing out cash. I'm thinking I'll probably still be able to pick up a couple of items, but I'm guessing it's going to be more streamlined than usual, and I'm going to be a heck of a lot pickier in terms of that regard. And as I mentioned, based on those Instagram exchanges, there may be one or two cards that I'll pick up that are actually nice cards that'll be great additions to the collection, but that deal's technically already been made. We've kind of come to terms on the dollar amount already, so I kind of have to allocate those funds ahead of time. So I have to kind of factor that into my planning. It's like, well, I already spent the money before I even showed up. So it's one of those things. It happens sometimes, but that's okay. I think it'll still be a fun show, and I'm looking forward to it. So this will be kind of the kickoff video of probably a couple of videos talking about some stuff related to Expo, and then we'll talk more about it on the live stream on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I may do one more video beforehand if I've got anything else that I want to prepare or anything else I've come up with in the meantime related to that. But if you have any questions related to it, if you've never been to Expo, or if you're curious about it, I know some folks stateside are interested potentially in coming up one of these days. The fall one is definitely the better one for that kind of thing. But if you've got any questions related to any aspect of that, feel free to ask, because we can address it either in a video or on the live stream as well. So it's one of those things. So that's some of the stuff I'm working on right now. Just kind of sorting through some cards here, trying to figure stuff out in terms of what I want to get done. Like I said, ComC submission, PSA submission, and potentially some other stuff. And I've got a little mini checklist of stuff that I'm hoping that maybe I can make happen while I'm there at the show. And also a bunch of content related stuff, honestly, that I would like to do. Oh, and one more thing. I did mention questions, but if there's any kind of content that you would like to see, something that you'd be interested, I can try to do a show walkthrough. I can try to talk through some element of it, talk to some people while I'm there. I can give it a shot and see what we can do as far as adding that. If that'd be something that you'd be interested in, I'm open to questions related to that. So that's it for me this time around. Recording a little bit on late Sunday, early Monday. So this will kick off this week. And then, like I said, the week after will be Expo week, and then probably it'll get a little bit crazy as far as scheduling and timing. So that's it for this one. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the support as always. Thanks very much. We'll catch you in the next one.